I'm so excited to start this series in the name of love, and I'm even more excited to be talking to my dear friend and mentor, Amanda Marit. Um, this
Mm,
series is all about understanding what it means to really operate from the heart center, having just a general idea of what it means to be in love, to live in love, to experience love, to feel love, and to create from the heart. And Amanda, to me, exudes heart centered consciousness. Every
mm,
time I go on her IG stories, every time I listen to her or I'm in her presence, I feel the true essence of what it means to be in love, to embody love. And I've learned so
mm.
much from her about what that means. And I wanted to have her on here first to really talk to us about what it means to live in a heart centered space. She has created her business and her life all around the heart center. And I thought, what better way than to have you kind of guide us through this practice of living from love?
Thank
So,
you.
Amanda, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, girl. You're
And
gonna make me cry.
if you can just give everyone a little overview, just a little bit about you and sort of what you do.
Yeah. So I'm the founder of Soul Mastery Coaching Certification. So I actually train women in this area of really stepping into using the power of their heart to help shift the lives of their clients and to step into their own mastery, really, to step into their true potential, their soul's potential. So I train women on that and then help them grow a profitable business using the power of their heart, because I've actually now grown a multiple six-figure brand using the power of my heart, showing up with my heart, being in service to the world, and helping people transform. And really, at the core of all my work, it comes back to, which we're going to talk about today, I know, is living from that space, living from here, embodying this. And from there, and we'll talk about what this means, because some people are probably like, well, what does that even mean? Anything becomes possible. Anything becomes possible. So I've been really, if we want to get just like straight to the point, it all comes back to learning how to love ourselves first. It comes back to knowing our worth. And not from a place of the ego, from the place of learning to love yourself the way your higher power loves you, the way Source loves you. It's you really, I have chills everywhere, aligning with your divinity. And so as we, part of like what I teach through my certification and through my work is to figure out what has been standing in the way of you feeling the love, right? Is it a past relationship? Is it your childhood with your parents, things that you've been through, traumas? What has been standing in the way of you remembering that you're loved?
Mm,
I felt
so
that
good.
one. What's been, and so we go in there, we get right in there and we heal it. And we figure out what it is. And we process it and we love on it and we liberate it so that we can finally step forward. My old, just to give like everyone a little snippet of like why I'm doing this, is because I once struggled so deeply to know my worth and value. I dated all the wrong men, Peter Pans, emotionally unavailable men, because I was emotionally unavailable for myself. I didn't know my worth. And because of that, I remember feeling so depressed. I remember going to bed, crying myself to sleep every night. I was super shy, super insecure, couldn't even look people in the eye, couldn't raise my hand in a group setting, definitely couldn't speak on stage, which now I've astounded myself. And I went on such a profound transformation of my own that it's inspired me to help people do the same thing. And now I train people who get to help people do the same thing. And it's so fucking powerful.
Wow. So,
Yes.
what was the first experience where you were like tapped into your heart and when you just like felt that? Because I know from my own experience that I didn't really understand what love was because I always I learned conditional love basically. And I lived my whole life thinking that I had to be something or do something to qualify to feel love. So, when was the first time you really felt it just unconditionally?
Oh God, I can't even remember the very first time I really felt it. I would have to, if I'm being honest with you. But I remember my turning point moment and what kind of cracked the door open to all of this experience. Because now what I'm able to feel in my heart is so visceral and so tangible and so powerful. And so it's kind of been like amplifying over the years, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in the very beginning, I had a realization just all of a sudden that, oh my gosh, I've created all of these experiences in my life. You know, I've been saying yes to these relationships that aren't honoring me. So first I have to understand that, and I have to take a look at that and get honest with myself and say, no, I deserve more. I'm going to choose to love myself. I'm going to choose to peel back the layers. I'm going to choose to say no to these experiences, these kind of men, these kind of dating patterns, which they were all a gift. They were all a gift, right? And actually, my biggest cracking open moment was through flicking some guy off outside of a bar. And and that's like not me. That's out of character for me. And it wasn't about him at all. It was about, I'm finally coming back home to my heart. And I'm finally going to take radical responsibility. It's not his fault. Take radical responsibility for the reflection that he was showing me, because he was just showing me where I wasn't loving myself, because he wasn't able to show up that way for me, right? And so that was a heart opening moment for me right there in itself, of really, really understanding and getting, really, it's like a humbling moment, but getting humble with myself around where I had been holding back on my own heart. And from that moment, that propelled one of the greatest transformations of my life, because I was able to then use that as information and how I could then start to give that love to myself. And over the years of continuously doing that, shining light on all of those places that maybe I've been seeking for it outside of myself through the wrong kind of men, through, I don't know, anyone, and having expectations of other people giving that to me and waiting for that, right? I needed to start giving it to myself. And over the years, since I've been piling that on myself, it's my default every day is, what do I need? What do I need for myself? What do I need for myself? The love I've been able to feel, which I'll share more about, it moves me in ways I've never been moved before by any other person so far.
Yeah. I feel like so many of us, like we've been kind of taught to like look for love, or looking for love, or trying to find that partner or that thing or whatever it is to make us feel love. But we realize it's never really out there. You'd be searching for a lifetime. So part of what you do is just living from the heart every day. But what does it actually mean to live heart-centered, like, or have a heart-centered life?
Yeah. For me, it's literally, I'm being shown this. It's like putting on these heart glasses, like putting on the lens of love every day. Not just, it starts from within. So first in the morning, what you could do is, how can I give myself love today? What does that look like today? And it's not just about, oh, I love my eyes, I love my hair, I love my smile. Like, yes, love those things too. But really, where do I need love? Is it that part of me that feels alone at night? The part of me that is laying up anxious because that guy didn't call me back, or this or that? What parts of you need love the most? You know, what do you need to forgive yourself for? What do you need to let go of? And give that to yourself every morning. Ask yourself, what do I need? And do it with, it's like kind of this gentle softness energy about it. It's like, hey babe, what do you need today? You know, what do you need from me? Do you just need to cry? Do you need to be held? Do you need to be loved? Do you need to be sang to? I don't know. Do you need to be touched? Do you need, like, what do you need? And showing up as that gentle partner, that loving partner, romancing yourself in order to, from there, then it mirrors back to you in your life through relationships, through people on the street, through, messages that pop through your DM, right? Like, it gets reflected back to you when you're first diving in and giving it to yourself. And most people are afraid to dive so deep within themselves because in the beginning, it's not that fun sometimes, because you actually have to face the things you've been trying to run from.
So do you have a practice that you do to kind of drop into your heart, or to like feel that every day?
Totally. And it honestly, it changes, it shifts depending on what is going to work for me that day. Because for me, it's not like necessarily this one thing always gets me in every single time. So here's what I teach to my clients, is to discover what access points can help be a portal really for you to step into your heart. So it's starting to think, well, what gets me into my heart? When I'm thinking about something, when I'm feeling something, what is it that really gets me going? And so for me, like, there's certain songs that every time I listen to them, they allow me to take a step back from my life, and they spark emotion within me. Maybe it's a memory that I had with my grandmother who's passed, or maybe it's the song that you danced to in your wedding, or maybe a song that reminds you of, I don't know, something emotional, or maybe the moment your child was born, the moment you picked up whiskey, the moment, right? Like today's Zella's birthday. It's like remembering the decision that I made to adopt her and drive almost 4 hours to get her. Like it's taking a step back from the monkey mind, taking a step back from whatever momentum is moving in your life that doesn't feel good, and to get back to the basics. It doesn't have to be so hard. And that to me is the first step. That's the access point in, is allowing whatever kind of happy emotion can move in your heart. The really, for me, it's like when I allow myself to get deep into that space, I will just ask my heart to amplify it even further so that I can actually get into a state where I'm crying happy tears. Like, ask yourself, what would get me into that state? And I know we hear this term a lot, but it's finding things that you love and thinking about them and feeling them. Like, what brings you love? What brings you joy? What are you appreciative of in your life that you can say, holy shit, without this person, I wouldn't be where I am today. Without this friend, I wouldn't be where I am today. Without this experience in my life, I wouldn't be where I am today, right? You know, so for me, it's like thinking about my mentor, you know, thinking there's so many different things that get me into my heart. So I asked myself that day, like, what can I grab a hold of that's going to get me there? And then I'll take as long as I need to sit with that. You know, it could be 5 minutes and I'm in and I'm like, oh, it was that easy. Some days it might be 30 minutes where I'm sitting, depending on what's moving and what's coming up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So love is more about like, it's the feeling, right? It's generating the feeling. And I've heard you talk about before that the heart is actually, is it 10,000 times more powerful than the mind?
I've seen actually things different in different spaces, but on heart math, I saw that it can be up to 5,000 times more magnetically powerful than your mind. Yeah,
okay,
I've seen a few different places.
So a lot of us, I mean, we're in the head a lot, right? We're trying to figure things out. We're trying to plan the next step. We're trying to be so logical and analytical about everything. So what's your advice to kind of tell the difference between when our head is guiding us versus when our heart is guiding us?
Yeah. So for me, when the head is guiding us, we have all these questions, right? There's all this mind chatter of, should I do this? Should I not do this? I wonder what he's thinking. I wonder what he's not thinking. I wonder if this client's going to sign on, or what if I'm not good enough? Or what if it's kind of like the chatter that goes on up here.
The fear, right?
The fear. Yeah, that fear voice where you're questioning yourself, you're doubting yourself, you're in like these these loops, these mind loops where you can't shut it off. When I'm in my heart, it's a feeling. It's a feeling here. I feel it viscerally in my body. I don't know about you, but I feel a warmth, right? I feel an emotion. I feel a peace with no matter what's happening around me. And it could be, again, same two scenarios in your life going on. One, when you're in your head, you're in a fear space. And one, when you're in your heart, you actually feel at peace about that scenario because you remember that you are supported, that you are loved, that you're always being guided, and that you're powerful. And when you can shift out of the mind chatter and get back into here, then things can shift instantly because you are literally embodying a new frequency, a new energy. Yeah, a new radiance within you. You're remembering your power.
So when everything looks kind of crazy and chaotic around you and you're going through a lot of challenging situations and it's really hard to tap into that heart space, what do you usually do when you're feeling challenged to get back into that heart center?
Well, the first thing that comes up is don't try to get rid of it so quickly. I think we try to, oh my God, I need to whip out all these tools. Like the one tool that I mentioned to you guys of really figuring out what your access points are and sitting with that is a way to get in. However, sometimes when the resistance is so strong, the only way out is actually through. It's actually to sit with it. It's coming up for a reason. It's coming up to expand you. It's coming up to be let go of. And so actually I'll always be vulnerable. I had an experience yesterday where I was feeling really intense in my body and I'm actually feeling an intense sensation in my heart come up, and I actually couldn't really identify directly like what it exactly was. It felt really yuck. So I was sitting on the beach like midday, and the guidance I got was, don't try to move this. You need to go home and you need to go lay down and sit with this and allow whatever emotion to come up to come up. And so I did. I came home and I laid down and I laid with it, and I put my intention on my heart, wherever you're feeling it in your body, your stomach, your throat, your heart, wherever that's coming up. And I sat with it and I put my awareness on it and I breathed into it and I just said, I love you. You can feel whatever you need to feel right now. Whatever this is, I'm going to let this expand me. And so I sat there with it. And within about 30 minutes, it was completely moved. And for me, because I feel so much energy, I could feel all this light pouring in it. It was almost like it was coming up to be released. And now I can receive more love. Does that make sense? So it's like it comes up so to help us receive more love.
Opening, it's clearing, creating that space for the light to enter, right?
Yeah. And so it's about like in those moments when you're having a tough time, sit with it, because it's actually, and celebrate that actually whatever is coming up to help you to get more into your heart. It might not feel like that in the moment, but sometimes if we try to force something away, push it away, punch it away, slap it away, try to get rid of it, we're actually bypassing a beautiful gift that is trying to actually help expand us into being more love, essentially.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and crack you open. And one more thing too with that is, because I've allowed myself to sit there and feel it and allow the emotion to come up, when I jump on my group calls, like with the girls in my certification, I have a whole different perspective on what they're going through as well. I can relate to them again. I can remember and say, oh yeah, I do remember what it's like to feel that way. Because sometimes I go through periods when I don't have as much resistance coming up, you know? Mm-hmm. And so it cracks me open to my next level of being able to be love for other people, because I understand too how they're feeling, what they're going through. And I can bring that certain level of softness in with my clients too, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, and I know like a lot of us struggle with this whole concept of like self-love, and especially around like our bodies. It can be challenging to wake up every day and sometimes look in the mirror and remember all the things that are wrong with us and all the things we maybe have done wrong or whatever. So do you, like, what is your sort of self-love practice look like? Do you wake up every day and just remind yourself? Do you struggle with it? Like, what does that look like for you?
I will say, like, I used to struggle with it quite a bit, but I have to tell you, because I live and breathe this, it's become a lot more natural for me, I have to say. And it does, so it does get easier. And it doesn't have to be something that's a lingering thing that keeps coming up over and over again. But of course, there's moments of self-doubt. Of course, there's moments where I have to remind myself, oh, wait, you're a badass bee. Wait, you're incredible. But in the morning, I give love to myself. I literally will wake up and look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh, you're so cute, even with no makeup on, even with your lashes coming off, even with, like, even if you just had a good snot cry, you know, like, you look beautiful anyways. Like, I date myself no matter what state I'm in. And it's been a conscious, deliberate choice to do that. And as you continue practicing it, it does become a new norm to where you can actually love yourself in all forms. And so, to be honest with you, at the moment, it's not something I struggle with, because I make it such a regular practice and I've surrendered so much into it that it's a default. It's a default. And I also know my love is so close that I've been doing this work for so long, right? To be able to actually attract in a partner who actually I don't need him to validate me, right? Because I make it a choice to validate myself. And again, some days it might be harder than others. I might have a fleeting moment of, ooh, am I enough? Am I this or that? And it's, again, anytime I feel knocked off that not pedestal, but that's not the right word. If knocked off my power, then I can know that it's just a moment I need to come back to myself. The only reason why we don't accept ourselves is because it's like we're looking outside of ourselves for something. We're comparing ourselves to something else. But there's no comparison for you, right? And
Yeah.
so it's like the only reason why we say, oh, my thighs are too big is because there's something out there that says your thighs have to look a certain way, or that your nose has to look a certain way, or
Mm.
your whatever has to look a certain way. And it doesn't mean you can't improve upon yourself and work out and like do things that are going to make you feel good. And there's nothing wrong with looking good. However, do it for yourself. So for me, it's a practice of coming back home to my heart every day.
Yeah. So moving from that conditional type of love to the unconditional
Yes.
kind of. And if you've never really experienced unconditional love in any areas, like maybe you grew up in a family that love wasn't really readily available, or, maybe you were just taught that you had to be something in order to be loved, what would you say, like, how do you make that shift from the conditional to the unconditional? Has it been a practice of connecting with a higher power? Like, what really brought you to that place of understanding unconditional love?
Yeah. Well, it's something that had to, of course, been cultivated from within. But I believe because I have such a strong meditation practice and strong, like every day I do my morning practice on the beach every single morning, unless I'm not in town. I haven't missed one morning that I have like been here in the last few months, at least on the beach. And so for me, like the more we connect with our higher power, the more we connect with source, the more we let go of our mind, we can start to feel that unconditional love. We can start to notice it around us. We can start to see how supported we are. It can be something as simple as, wow, I'm so supported right now. The sun comes up every day to light this world. Oh my gosh, I have air in my lungs. Oh my gosh, I'm alive today. Because what I've been taught and what I've just been given is like, this life is such a gift.
Yeah.
We're here to grow. We're here to expand as souls. Like I see life as this video game, and we are so supported. And so start to seek and start to look around in all the ways that you are. It's like the trees are providing oxygen. Oh my gosh, we're so loved. I have a bed that I sleep in every night, and I have clothes, and I have food, I have shelter. I'm so freaking blessed. I live in Laguna Beach with an ocean view. I know I've co-created this, but also like we are so supported. And even in those moments when things were really tough in my business and tough in my life, it was finding those ways to generate the feelings of being supported. And as I did that, as I realized even if you maybe haven't experienced it through your family, trust me, you have a divine father, a divine mother who are constantly loving you. And if you let go, again, of the mind and connect back to here, you'll start to feel that. And it might take a little time. So don't push yourself to feel it all fully right away and to embody it fully. This has been a process for me. This has been a becoming. This has been an unfolding. This has been a letting go, many rounds of shedding.
Yeah.
To get here.
So practicing gratitude then has been really powerful. It's like whenever you feel like things are not solid around you, to look for things to be grateful for, even if it's just the air you're breathing. And I even find personally when I shift into that attitude of being in gratitude, I can start to feel the love frequency kind of building up. And then you become a vibrational match to more things to be grateful for, more things to love, right?
Yes, and then you can start to ride the wave.
Yeah.
Ride that wave. But for me, it's, again, finding things to love, going back to the self, finding things to love about yourself, and then also loving the parts that you don't want to love about yourself. And every day looking in the mirror, I love mirror work actually.
Yeah.
Like when I'm crying, getting right in front of the mirror and telling myself, you're beautiful. Even with snot running down your face and like bloodshot eyes. And like I'm here for you. And I will say that to myself in front of the mirror. And I mean it. I say it and I mean it. I'm not going to ever leave you. I'm not going to leave you. I'm here for you. And it's powerful.
So powerful. I just started practicing that a few months ago.
Did you?
And it's like this moment, like when you first start, it's really vulnerable, and it's like, oh, this is weird. I'm talking to myself. But then when you make that eye contact, it's like you are connected to something that is so much bigger and deeper and you realize like you're not just this physical body. I mean, it's so much more than that.
Yes. And it's like, you're not Lindsay, I'm not Amanda. I mean, we could get into a whole nother conversation about that. Like, we're having this human experience, and you thought you were perfect when you chose who you were going to be in this body, Chills. You chose yourself. You thought you were perfect. You were like, heck yeah, I'll go down on the earth and I will be Lindsay. She's hot. And she has got a big mission to share. And if anyone's listening to this, you are a light worker, you are a light bringer, whatever you want to call it. You are a love leader. Like, yes, you are, in whatever capacity that is for you. I once never knew I was going to be where I am today at all, right? Like, I was once sitting in a cubicle. And, you know, for you, like, so if you're listening to this, whether or not you end up being a teacher or not, like, you are on this path with us, you are on this journey with us, and you chose to come down into this body that you're in, and you were excited about it. You were ready to go. And I think that brings a lot of peace to me when I think about that every day of, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm so much more than it. Yes, I'm going to be in my body in this physical lifetime and not try to float off into outer space. I'm going to own Amanda. I'm going to make her the best damn woman that I can have her be in this lifetime. But I'm so much more than this. This is just my home for a very temporary period of time, right? And even connecting back with that as much as I can, kind of like zooming out of this physical experience, gives me so much solace and peace and just remembrance of, wait a second, I'm actually really fucking cosmic.
And we're all connected too. You know, when I really started tapping into the power of love, I realized like, it's not just me, like, we're all intertwined. And, you know, a lot of what I teach is around like the quantum field and everything, how, you know, we're all entangled. We're all part of this one really beautiful, massive consciousness. And the more that we emanate love, we're raising the vibrational frequency of everything around us, the planet around us, and everything accelerates. So the reason why I really wanted to talk about love is because in every decision that we make, regardless of who you are, where you are, you matter. Every choice you make, every ounce of kindness you show to someone, it changes the world. It changes everything on such a massive scale that I want us all to really believe in and to be able to feel and harness this power of love within us and to operate from that space.
Yes.
And so, do you have anything else to add or any advice?
Yeah, because I'm like receiving things as we're talking here. Is if on those days too, when you're having a hard time accessing your heart, going back to getting into the heart, some days it will be easier than others, you know? I find if it's harder for me to get in it, who can I give love to?
Yes.
And so I'll whip out my phone, and there might be someone in my DMs that I know who messages me all the time, and I'll just send a little love note to that person. A little, hey, I was just thinking about you. I hope you're having an amazing day today. Or how can I be love, you know, when I'm going to a restaurant or a coffee shop? How can I give a compliment or share love and do it genuinely? There's a 90-year-old man who I see every morning on the beach, depending on what time I get to the beach, because he goes really early. But, you know, we started kind of just giving little, like, love to each other every day. Like, every morning he kisses my hand, and I just let myself receive it, but I also ask myself, how can I serve and show up for him? What can I say to him today? You know, what kind of joy can I bring? What kind of love can I bring? And I've met some, just by being open to that, I've met some really cool people, just even down on the beach every morning, just by being open to doing that. And I push myself. I push myself to say things to people. It sometimes isn't comfortable, where I'm like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, like, X, Y, or Z. Or, oh my gosh, your dog is so cute. Oh, how's your day going? And just actually making eye contact with them and giving a crap about their day and actually really genuinely caring about them. Or helping someone, helping a friend. You get the point. Reaching out to give love puts you in that vibration.
Yes. Oh, that's such a good point. And two, like, sometimes when I can't really tap into it, I'll use the power of visualization. So like you said, thinking of something that generates that feeling of love within you, because you can always go to that place in your mind. It's not away from you. It's not somewhere else. It actually exists in the quantum field. So if you close your eyes
Yes.
and you imagine a place that brings you comfort and peace and love, you can feel that in that space.
Yeah.
And I find that to be powerful too if you're struggling with that.
Yeah. Well, I love that you said that because it's already here. Like love is already around us. It's about letting it in.
Yeah.
And the power of visualization is one of my favorite practices. It's one of the most powerful things that you can do for anything in your life, you know, for manifesting, for growing your business, for calling in your sacred union, for all of those things. It's one of the most powerful things that you can do. Because
Yeah.
I mean, scientifically, I'm not really a left brain person, but scientifically, there's no difference really because we're pumping out the energy of something. The universe doesn't know whether or not we're actually experiencing that or not, right? Doesn't actually know if you're sitting here with your lover next to them, holding them. Like it actually feels, you're radiating those feelings. If you can generate them and you're visualizing them, it feels real to them. And I've actually had some very powerful experience with my boo, who I boldly know that it's happening like very soon. Boldly know that. We've talked about that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can feel it, you know?
Lindsay knows. She's one of the people. And so I've been able to tap into some really powerful feelings for my man, my boo, but also what I've been guided to do until divine timing aligns all of this is to pour this even more so on myself. So this conversation of tapping into love, like I've been talking about dating yourself first and romancing yourself, loving yourself, pleasing yourself, showing up for yourself, like touching yourself, like gently, softly, like bringing that loving intention into everything that you're doing every single day and really literally immersing your life in this energy of love and romance.
Yes.
And they've been having me do that to get me into that vibration so that I can already generate those feelings now and not feel any sort of lack of love in my life. And then knowing that because I've been so powerfully implanted into this feeling, really, that what's showing up for me is going to be so freaking powerful and magical and will mirror back all of the love I've already generated from within myself and I actually don't feel a lack of right now. So when it comes in, it's only going to overflow my cup even more. And girl, I don't know, am I going to be able to even take it in this body?
I don't know.
Right? I don't know. Yes, I will.
Yes, it's going to be so much because the imagination, I think of it as like God's workshop. That's where we we're co-creating there, right?
Yes,
and feel it now, be it now, and that's really what embodiment is.
Yes.
Showing up as if it's already here. It's already done.
Yeah, and when you embody it, it has to show up because the universe is like, oh wait, she's already in love. We got to make sure that the physical world matches the energetic.
Yes.
Right? And so it's like, oh, she already has, a bunch of clients, or she already has a book deal, or she already has this new job or this new home. So if you can feel it, visualize it, and that's how I've manifested multiple now ocean view homes, is because it first started in my mind. It first started here, right? And then, anyways, now we're taking this down a different path, but it's really true. It's the power of the heart.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I was pulling it back to. It's like when you couple the imagination and the visualizations with the heart center, and you really feel as if you already have it and then embody it, it's like, boom.
Yes. It does show up. And I know it's hard for the human mind because the mind comes up with, well, how? When? It starts to pull back into the mind. And you just have to continue to align yourself to your heart. And some days, again, it might be easier than others. There's some days where you're like, oh yeah, shit, I just need to redirect my mind. And then there's some days where there's a lot of resistance that comes up. But please don't try to bypass all of that resistance because it's coming up to pretty much like, if you're saying you want that thing, you want the love, you want the home, you want to experience more love in your life, anything that's not love is going to be like, hey, come give me love. Like anything that's not love needs to be returned to it. So it's coming up to be returned back to love, right? So good.
Oh, speaking of gratitude, I am so grateful for you. Seriously, like 2 years ago, it's almost 2 years now, when I found you and started working with you, like my life has taken such a 180, and I owe a lot of that to you and working with you. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to do this interview and to be a part of the series.
Of course. You're so freaking shiny. Like I've always told you that. But I remember the moment I first got on a call with you. Are we having a moment right now? And I'm like, oh my God, she's meant to do really, really, really big things on this planet. And anyone would be just so blessed to get to be in your energy and to be supported by you, because you are a pure being of love and support in the world. I know that you are. And you're freaking powerful. So powerful. I've had the joy, the honor to see you shift so much just beyond working, like a lot after we worked together. Just what you've gone through over the past couple of years has been a complete transformation, about 10 times over. So if anyone understands what the journey is of coming back to the heart, it's you, and you're amazing and shiny as well. And I also received that. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And if someone wants to work with you, is looking to get certified, and you teach Soul Mastery Coaching Certification, how can they work with you? How can they find you?
Yeah, well, actually, cool too is I have a live event in San Diego at the end of November, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, called Goddess on Fire, and we're going to be doing a lot of this work there. We're going to be going deep into what's been standing in the way, and then get you aligned into your divine feminine, into your heart, into your power, so you can actually know your worth. Not just know it, actually feel it, embody it. So AmandaMarit.com is the best place for that, or Instagram is @theAmandaMarit. And my website has all the information on my certification. The next round starts in January of 2020. So that's coming up as well. And yeah, if anyone feels called to step up into this work and to do this, because it's seriously the most impactful, transformational work that I've personally done. And I love sharing this with people and helping them spread the message. If you feel called to step into your soul's purpose, I'm here.
You're such a goddess.
Thanks.
I love you.
I love you.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.